Finally tonight, mixing Christianity and Islam under one roof. Special correspondent friend to Sam Lazaro reports from Lagos, Nigeria. A version of the story aired on the PBS program Religion and Ethics News Weekly.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. This is one of hundreds of small churches in Lagos, but perhaps the only one that has on its lectern both Quran and Bible. The invocations come loudly from both. It's all the more unusual in a country often torn by religious conflict. Half of Nigeria's 140 million people are Muslim, the other half practice some form of Christianity. Sectarian violence has led to thousands of deaths over the years. Last November, such conflict in the city of Jos, often based on land disputes, claimed more than 300 lives. But practitioners of so-called Chrislam, 1,500 on some Sundays, see no religious fault line. Shamsuddin Saka, he's called prophet, says they are all children of Abraham.
Abraham has many children. Abraham is the father of Christianity and the father of Islam. Why are the Christian and Muslim fighting?
Saka was born Muslim, and it was after returning from a Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca that he was inspired, he says instructed by God, to launch his new ministry.
That was about 19 years ago. Then there were a lot of people killing themselves in Nigeria 19 years ago. I was praying and I lied down, and the Lord told me, when you get to your country, make peace between the Christians and Muslims.
He's done that most noticeably in this dusty Lagos neighborhood, bringing the faiths together in a blended liturgy. It begins each Sunday morning with Quranic prayers in an open floor space that, like a mosque, has no pews. These then give way to prayer with the congregation seated in chairs. Well, sometimes seated. It gets intense, almost trance-like, similar to a Pentecostal Christian service, and climaxes with a sermon from Saka.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. On this day, he hit repeatedly on themes of prayerfulness and the commonality between Islam and Christianity.
He said, I will bring Christian and Muslim together.
Islam was brought to West Africa by Arab traders 10 centuries ago, Christianity by European colonization starting in the 15th century. And although it's unusual to see it under the same roof, it's not uncommon for ordinary people, even professed Muslims, to pick and choose from each tradition, says Mara Lightman, an anthropologist at Michigan State University.
They believe in some cases in various African countries of what I've called a spirituality without boundaries. So it's nothing foreign to a Muslim to believe in Jesus, to pray in Jesus or some of the other prophets, to light a candle for the Virgin Mary, for example, as I've experienced Muslims do in churches in Senegal.
And she says in a land where spirituality is a dominant force, economic hardships may also push people to try new ideas. Nigeria has vast oil wealth, but it's only benefited a few. Per capita income is just $850 a year, for example. Life expectancy, about 45 years.
If they're poor, if they're suffering from HIV/AIDS, if they're trying to understand a changing political situation, finding a new religion is one way of coping with the situation, of looking for new leadership, of trying to have control on their own through prayer, through different rituals of something that may not necessarily be controllable.
Many who come to Chrislam are praying for what Saka calls deliverance, from illness, for example. Kawa Khaled Adakunji, who was born Muslim, came to Chrislam 15 years ago when she couldn't have children.
I now have children. I came and saw that miracles are performed here. Those who didn't have children have children. Those who were lame are walking, and the blind are now seeing.
At the service, there are petitions for miracles of health and wealth. Not unusual in some churches, but Saka insists it's compatible with Islam too.
Islam is a religion of peace, of love, of miracles. When you're talking about miracles, Islam is a miracle itself. The founding of the Quran itself is a miracle.
And every week people testify to what they claim are miracles, a child conceived or a business deal. Saka himself drives a late model Hummer, the gift of 2 followers whose prayers were answered, he says.
Listen to me. I am a millionaire before my call. You know we don't collect much money. We collect 50 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira. This is not my own source of income.
The shiny SUV may raise eyebrows, but Saka insists he doesn't benefit personally from the tithes of his congregants. His fortune came before his call to ministry, he says, from a real estate business. Even skeptics give Saka credit for setting an example with this worship community, for how people like Samson Ademola see themselves.
Are you Christian or Muslim now?
No, whatever you call me, I am.
For rediscovering the tradition in West Africa of interfaith tolerance.